Hello, I'm here at the Pony Power Stables to do a series of interviews with Jennifer S. Walker, author of First Pony Advice, creator of the children's movie and book series The Pony Fairy, and qualified equestrian coach who has been involved with horses for over 30 years. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, Yana. Welcome to the Pony Power Stables.
Thank you for having me. So do you have a particular method or ideology or philosophy when it comes to training horses?
So, my training methods, well, that's quite controversial, isn't it, these days? How do people train? What's their methods? Some people can be pretty rough with horses, and that really doesn't suit my nature. So, I was brought up traditionally in more of the English disciplines and training methods, but yeah, I don't know, I was probably in my 20s and I bred a few warm bloods. And basically I came unstuck quite badly. I couldn't get anything done. I'd been handling young horses all my life, but couldn't get them to lead, couldn't get them to pick their feet up. I was really having a stroke, couldn't catch them. They would take off and things. And so, that was sort of the change. I had to find some new skills because things weren't working. So, I came across a gentleman who did horsemanship, and a friend of mine kept saying, get this fellow out, he'll be able to help you. And I'm going, never heard of this horsemanship stuff. What's this all about? And so one day we got this fellow out, and within about 10 minutes he'd caught the horse. He'd done a process called hooking on, where you get the horse to come to you, you make it a little bit difficult for them to run around the paddock, and they soon find that that's not working for them. And so we got the horse to basically catch him definitely within half an hour. He'd got the job done and got the horse caught, and then the horse proceeded to take him sand skiing, as they call it, and he took off, and he dragged him around the paddock for a bit, and then he taught the horse some lateral flexion and moving the hindquarter, and this was all within probably a 2-hour period. He got this horse to pick all its feet up, lead well, lead over tarps and different items, and I just went, this is interesting. And I said, and he breaks horses in, or in horsemanship they call starting horses. So I said, would you like to start this horse? And I'd be interested to see what methods you use, because this is quite an interesting afternoon for me after being brought up with horses. So I sent this little horse off to him, and he was a warm blood, and he was out of my junior horse, one of my junior mares, so he should have been nice and quiet, but anyway, so he took him, and he had him a couple of weeks there, and I went each day and watched his processes, and it was all very different. They ride them around in halters and lead ropes and flick the lead rope over the horse's front to steer them, and they don't long rein them or drive them, and the things that I'd been taught how to break a horse in. And they're on them within, a couple of days generally, or even on the same day sometimes. So I sort of found this really interesting, and I proceeded to learn more about horsemanship. So after this experience with this young horse and seeing him started under saddle like this, I guess I sort of always look at, who's the best in the world at this style of training, this horsemanship style of training, and a few names came up, like Ray Hunt, Tom Dorrance, Buck Brannaman, and so I thought, I'd really like to go and see them in action. And so originally they came out to Australia, and I went, I think the first one I went to was Buck Brannaman, and I did his clinics probably for 2 years when he was out, and then when Ray Hunt came out, a lot of people said Ray Hunt's pretty tough, but I just loved Ray. I think he, what he can't get done with a horse, not many people would be able to get done with a horse. So it was great to have actually seen him in the saddle, because in the later years with Ray, he didn't ride very much, so I was, in those early years, able to see him on a horse, because I'm a very visual learner. So when you actually see him ride a horse and see what he does and see the feel he presents to the horses, that was a great opportunity, and I feel really blessed to have come across these great horsemen in the early days. It's 20 years ago that I came across these fellows, so that was a very good foundation for basically the rest of my horse riding career and up to date, and my coaching. All my students are brought up with this method. They all are out competing, but they do horsemanship. They know how to do their ground school. They know how to check a horse out before they get on a horse, make sure it's safe, and they feel they're presenting to the horses is, they sort of go out and see a lot of the rough handling that does get done out there, and you know how people pull on the bit and make the horses heavy in the bridle, and they go, well, there's no need, and that's right. They don't know any different, but there is definitely two styles of training out there. So basically my training ideology and methods are working with the horse, working with their natural nature, in fact. It's based on pressure and release. It's based on understanding how they're thinking, what they need in order to learn or to do what I am requiring, in actual fact, because most people just force horses into submission, and horsemanship is definitely not about that. It's about allowing the horse to think and encouraging the horse to do what I would like as a rider or a trainer. So it's his choice to do it instead of forcing him to do it. And when you make the right thing easy and the wrong thing a little difficult, then basically he starts to hunt for those open doors and really look to how he can work with you in a situation. And I'll tell you, you get a horse that's working with you, whether you're out show jumping, eventing, cutting a cow, when he's there with you and wanting to do the job, you've just got a way better relationship and communication. And the day that you mess up, even as a show jump rider, there'll be days that you miss a stride or your timing's out, that horse will fill in for you when given the opportunity. You force a horse into submission, and the day that you make a mistake, he'll bung out of there. He'll leave. He'll stop. He won't be there for you. So it's another reason why I just think that it's just the best way to train horses, and it's just so much quicker. It's quicker, it's kinder on the horse, and it's just a more dependable system. Horsemanship is about getting the horse to turn loose emotionally, and that trust issue that is basically there with horses. Being realistically wild animals, we're trying to domesticate them. If you can get that trust and confidence in the relationship, then the world's your oyster. You've got a relationship with the horse, and that's what I'm about.
Thank you for your interview today, Jennifer, and for giving us a small insight into life at the Pony Power Stables.